Sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Welcome everybody to my Kerbal Space Program video YouTube channel thing that I do occasionally. Now, in this video, we're going to be launching a deep space gateway, single launch, all the way to Minmus with an SLS, with a fairing that is bigger than the rocket itself. So very, very, very realistic take on the whole concept of building NASA's Deep Space Gateway, which is the station planned to be in the orbit of the moon in real life. It's going to be in the orbit of the moon, and it's going to be used to service reusable moon landers, which at this point is just confirmed to be the SpaceX moon ship, which Matt Land actually did a video on, but he did not have a deep space gateway. The reason I picked Minmus instead of the MUN was because while the MUN would have been more accurate to the mission itself, Minmus is just so much more fun to do because A, Minmus is a very cool body in and of itself, and two, because Minmus is just easier than MUN, to be fair. Other than just getting there, it's easier than MUN in just about every other regard. But yeah. So due to my inability to intelligence, we have to do a very, very aggressive pitch over to to do the gravity turn. But once we do that, we're going pretty solidly on a trajectory that we should be on. Now he's going for the prograde marker to follow suit. And then we just have a beautiful and realistic solid rocket booster separation, where they oh so gracefully smash into each other after being taken off the rocket. I'm sure NASA would do that exact thing. I mean, like, personally, I don't really work at NASA, so I cannot speak from experience. But personally, if I worked at NASA, I would totally consider doing that maneuver. For the cool points, because they do a little bop. Oh, just bopped my mic. But they do a little bop, and then they separate. It's very realistic, if you ask me. But now that the solid rocket boosters are gone, you can see the core stage, which is really nothing right home about. It's just orange 3.75 meter tanks, which used to be the biggest before the Making History DLC was released, unleashing the horrors of the 5 meter tanks, which are impeccably useful and amazing, and I love them forever. Now, if you notice the lack of clouds, that is because when trying to originally use this SSTO idea that I had, before moving to an SLS as the launch platform, I had the bright idea to use a stock SSTO for this mission. That went just about as well as you might expect it would have gone. My computer said no, because it had to be so big, and I could not get the wings. I could not get it so that the wings both worked and didn't run at 1 frame per minute. So, in the end, I just opted to switch to an SLS. But before switching to SLS, I considered installing the OPT mod, which is probably my favorite ever spaceplane mod ever. That isn't the Commorant aeronology mod, which is just good space shuttles, better space shuttles. And actually, the engine used on that Orion module is the Commorant aeronology mod's shuttle OMS motor, and they've done it in such a way that there is it's angled straight, unlike the in-game standard monopropellant main engine, but it is not angled. There's an angled variant for shuttles, for American-style shuttles, that have the OMS mounted in that weird way over the top of the main engines, so they have to be offset so that they go through the center of mass and don't start. They have to be angled like that so that they go through the center of mass, and when they thrust, they don't thrust the ship. They don't make it start pitching up and flipping over. They actually make the ship go forward and accelerate forward. But for the mod makers, it has Buran style parts as well, which is why the straight one exists for Buran replicas, among other things. And I just decided to use it as the, the engine for the Orion module, which serves no purpose other than just as an escape pod. It's just attached to the station in case things go a bit the way of, I can't think of anything to say. But before they go bad, it's, if things end up going the way of something really bad that I can't think of the way it would go, that is there just to get them off the station. And honestly, just to keep them on the station. They have plenty of snacks from the Snacks Life Support mod, which I use because it's a very lightweight form of life support. I think it's pretty fun to do resupplies that I just do for fun, just because I don't record everything I do. I just record some of the things, the more interesting things, like building a relay network that turns Kerbin into an atom covered in laser beams. I do that on my free time and don't record it. But like for things like this, where it's a bit more grand scale, bit like a whole space station being taken to another completely different celestial body, and it's going to stay there all in one launch and one rocket that isn't completely monolithic, I think that's a bit more interesting than, turning Kerbin into an atom. Unless it isn't. I mean, it's more interesting to me, but I don't know about you guys. So, if you guys would like to watch me turn Kerbin into an atom with Falcon 9s and Falcon 1s, among other relay launching rockets, please do let me know. I'm running out of ideas, and I'm really running out of excuses to skip uploads. So, my only option is to do stuff. And while I could just skip uploads and not give an excuse, who would do that? That's so bad. I really hope my voice is speaking over the sheer loudness of of my computer's fans right now, because apparently it is outputting more heat than a nuclear reactor in Chernobyl. Okay. So I really hope you guys like that sound snippet. I think it's very professional, very high quality sounding goodness. But for real though, like all I can hear is from my computer's fan, and it's kind of annoying. Ow! Yeah, that's actually a little bit toasty back there. I mean, I've touched hamburger buns hotter than that, but it's still a bit toasty for my liking. So I'm probably just gonna shut it down and let it render and shut it down and hope it doesn't explode. I really cross my fingers. Really gotta cross my fingers on this one that, my computer does not combust. 'Cause that'd be bad. I think that'd be bad at least if my computer just combusted. So I completely rambled past everything that just happened, but we plotted a course to Minmus, and now we're doing a mid-course correction to get on a good trajectory to the blue moon. Literally to blue moon. It's to moon. And it's like this teal blue color. And that was a stupid joke, and I should be ashamed of it. But now that we're on a good trajectory, we can set the capture burn. Now, quick little note. This the footage for this video was recorded before the 1.12 update was released, and as of recording this voice clip, the 1.12 update is out. So maybe I'll do like a comprehensive review of the 1.12 update and then do this after, but that would be stupid going back to 1.11 after an update comes out, after doing a comprehensive review on it. So I'll just leave the good YouTubers up to doing it. But I mean, it's the last chance I'll get, so I guess I gotta do it. I gotta do it for the views, gotta do it for the clout, and I gotta do it to buy a new rubber thing for my mic stand. Because I need money. Because one of the little rubber things that my mic, I have a freestanding mic now, so one of the little rubber things that it's on the legs, it's meant to not scratch up your glass or scratch up your desk. That just popped off, so I need to get a new one. So I'm going to milk the No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to milk the end of KSP's development in order to buy a single rubber sphere thing so that I don't scratch up my desk. Because really that's what this is all about. I just need to get another rubber sphere so I don't scratch up my desk. After I do that, I'm retiring from YouTube. I think I've done my part once I have enough to get this rubber sphere. So yeah, that's my only channel milestone. To get enough money to buy another rubber sphere for my crappy freestanding mic. Now what I'm doing here is just, this station itself has a small refueling pod bay thing. It just has a small fuel tank. It's the intermediate size. It's not quite as large as 2.5 meter, but it's also not quite as small as 1.25. I said this in the last video, but 1.875 meter tanks are the best tanks. The best tanks for something in the middle of 1.25 and 2.5 because they're just good. It's in the middle, decent amount of fuel, looks good too. So overall, very, very good. Now we're going to do the capture burn. To do that, as you can see, we still have loads and loads of fuel left on those engines. Oh, I have cut sandwiches closer than this. What that's supposed to mean, I will leave that up for you to interpret. But point is, I had a bit of extra fuel after this mission. Even transporting this incredibly heavy payload, and the added weight of dead weight fuel, because fuel is very heavy compared to other structures in a craft. Fuel is very expensive and heavy, so having fuel tanks that are complete dead weights, unless they're empty, is never good. So you want to minimize the amount of dead weight fuel you're hauling. But in this one, I had to keep the refueling bay fully stocked up, fully ready to go. Actually, it does not have any mon-propellant. And also, this station had to be reconfigured with mon-propellant. One, because I could not be bothered to take scale. One is because I couldn't be bothered to add more reaction wheels and stuff to it and make it more obnoxious to build and increase the part count, which is never good when you increase part count, because that just makes it laggier. Actually, surprisingly, this mission ran mostly lag-free after that decoupling from the launch pad at the beginning. This mission was complete lag-free after the lag spike that always happens when you set off a bunch of those launch clamps, because it's got to calculate all the separations and separation force and explosions, and yeah, so it just caused a lag spike. But other than that, it's been a very, very smooth flight. Very, 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 very smooth like butter. I would probably mistake the smoothness of this flight for some butter that I would use to butter a pan while making some cookies or something. I don't know. What do you butter a pan for? I know when you make a sandwich. I don't know if this is just me, right? But when I make a grilled cheese on a pan, what I do is I take a little bit of butter, and I butter the bottom. I butter the pan so that when I place the first slice of bread onto the pan for cooking of the grilled cheese, it will slide off much easier. And also it adds a lot of flavor to the grilled cheese, I find. But the main reason is that, because to make it slide off the pan easier. So I don't know if that's just me or if that's a thing, but I would mistake butter in that situation. I can mistake the smoothness of this flight for some butter while making a sandwich. That was a terrible analogy and a random rant, but to be honest, I'm just feeling for time, because we're not even halfway done with this video. Yep, you thought, now that we're here, this is going to be a painful amount of doing minor orbital maneuvers and reconfiguring, mostly. It's just reconfiguring. Yawn, boring, yawn, but don't want to leave it silent, and I cannot think of anything else to say. other than... I can't even think of anything to say other than. And I hate it when I repeat myself when I say other than. If I say, alright guys, we're gonna assemble a sandwich and we're going to add tomato, some lettuce, some turkey, and bacon and stuff. We're gonna add stuff to the sandwich, right? And while I'm trying to stall for time, because I'm doing it in post and I'm really bad at managing my time, I would say, so I have nothing other to say other than we are putting on the lettuce, tomato, and the turkey onto the sandwich. Like, I hate it when I do that, but I never stop doing it, so this is gonna be it. I'm gonna finally change. I should also stop smacking my lips, because I hate listening to that. But, yeah. So, we just separated the space station structure from the SLS transfer stage, and we are now going to start by reconfiguring it with the first thing that has been attached to the bottom, the laboratory module, which is it's all going to be docked onto this center part with that launch escape system, which has just completely been drained of all the solid fuel, and it's inaccessible in the staging. It's like the very highest in the staging stack, or at least I changed it to that when I was finished with this mission. But it's purely just there to serve as aesthetic and as a mounting point for the solar panels. Okay, small audio glitch, but as I was gonna say, it's there to act as a mounting point for the solar panels and 2 magnetometer booms that have been clipped into what would otherwise be the middle. You know how the Gigantor solar array has 2 of the things, like the 2 solar panels that extend out and unfold. It's in between those because that middle section does not look very good. So I thought, hey, maybe I should put some magnetometer booms in there and make it look better. So now we're going to try to approach this station, or this segment of the station, to try to get it. And I was like, maybe I can salvage this. No, it ain't gonna happen. We just started rotating, and I realized there was no way for me to thrust upwards from the back because there was no monopropellant thrusters there. Why? I'm not sure. Most likely because I forgot. But I just conceded and loaded a quick save. And now we're back here. And I decided to just leave the station from doing any translation controls other than like side to side, which I'm not even sure if I did that on this take. I just did all the maneuvering with the laboratory module. Is the point of the story. And also, that weird circle thing is not part of any update. It's part of the Commorant aeronology mod. It's basically just a glorified Science Junior, but it looks cooler because it's like the Kerbal module on the real-life International Space Station with the little plate of experiments that is exposed to a hard vacuum. I don't really know why I slowed it down at this point exactly, but we're going to approach it at a third of a meter per second. No, not a third. 3/10 of a meter per second. Yeah, just hit the docking port and didn't destroy anything. So it's good. We're gonna quick save because I know if I don't, I'm gonna screw something up, which actually did happen. And this is a bit of a point, not because of a flaw in the station's design, partly a flaw, but the other flaw is that I'm stupid. But I'll save it for later. The eagle-eyed among us? No. The eagle-eyed among you guys have probably already noticed the problem. But, one of the problems was trying to wrangle this habitation module into position to get it going. Because I did place monopropellant thrusters on this side, but not on the other side for some unknown reason. It will never be known. Also, that service module looking thing that's just green and white is part of the snacks mod, lightweight life support. It's like TAC but better because it's more Kerbal and also does not require management of water or air. Although there is an air and a stress mod which add more complicated life support elements like, as mentioned, air as well as hab time and home time things that require you have good habitation for your crewmates instead of sending them to Elu all alone in a Mercury capsule. Or, Bradley Winston's moment in a spacesuit on a chair. But now we're going to try to dock, and it didn't connect. It did not connect. It's like, okay, maybe it was a fluke. I don't know why that happened, but I really hope it's a quickly fixable glitch and not something wrong with the module. I'd be really mad if it was that. But then I went to go look at it again, and it did not hit the cupola. So I was like, what the hell is happening? Why won't it connect? And then I started changing the orbit by trying to just ram it, which, you know, didn't work in the slightest, and just threw us off. So I tried maybe to see if I could dock it to the other side, which I didn't want to have to do that, but I mean, like, if it got it to work, I feel like getting it to work is a little bit more important than the realism of them having to, you know, go through a probe core and a snack canister. Actually, I think it's acceptable for them to transfer through Mark III fuel tanks, structural plates like that, and 2.5 meter batteries, because they all have literal service tunnel things. And in my mind, I think when they install a docking port onto one of those plates, they just, you know, bore a hole through it. Because it's not holding anything, they can just bore a hole through it. So at that point, I conceded and just loaded a quick save to see if that would fix it. But it didn't. I don't know why this happened. At least at the time. I figured it out, and it should be painfully obvious at this point why it's not working, if you noticed it before. So I decided, alright, I guess we'll just have to do this without this specific module, because, you know, they can live in the lab in the Orion module, and it'll be fine. They got the cupola. I got plenty of space. Oh. And I'm using a blanket as a makeshift foam room thing to absorb sound, because I noticed in my last video the audio is very, very, very echoey. So, at that point I just conceded and decided to dock the fuel tank. And then I realized the big problem, the big unfunny. And it was the way that I mounted the Orion module. You see, because I'm stupid, what I did was I went and took one of those docking ports mounted to the docking hub and mounted it to that orbital maneuvering engine that's attached to the Orion, and then I just went and added the service bay with all the fuel and stuff, and then the rest of the Orion module. And so it's set when you decouple that docking port, that docking node. When you decouple the node there, it is going to decouple the Orion module. So if any of you, for whatever reason, decide to download this craft file, just remember one of the docking ports has the Orion module stuck to it as the decoupling mounting node. So just keep that in mind. Just if it doesn't work and you're trying to dock it, just rotate it all, or decouple that node to switch it to open the node, because it's saying it's like something attached to it, so you can't dock to it, even though it does not appear to be obstructed. But now it is in its final form. If it were not to be carrying the Orion module, which is going to be holding onto that Orion module. So we're going to point it radial in, because I always like to have those cupola modules pointed radial in, at least one of them. I like it when it's pointed radial in. Because in the real life ISS, they have their cupola module, at least most of the time from the videos I've seen, they have the cupola module, stuck radial in so that the astronauts can look down at Earth. Now I'm going to speed this footage right up, because trying to wrangle this Orion capsule was a nightmare. No, just a nightmare. You see, because I lack in intelligence, I did not put RCS anywhere except for the included RCS on the Mark III cockpit, which does not have forward and backward translation, which was not fun to say the least. I had to use the main engine to do everything that was not strafing, which was, it was annoying, very annoying. So what I ended up doing was, since this station has lots and lots of RCS, I was going to try to get on a better approach with the station, using the station, and then I was going to rotate the Orion module and very, very, very slowly coast towards it and just use the small amount of RCS thrusters built into the Mark III Apollo cockpit command pod thing, and just use that to edit my approach so that I did not hit into the side. And that worked. Just took a couple attempts to get it to work. But yeah, I don't know what to say now. I've run on range about sandwiches, stuff I wanted to stop doing. I think I hit all the talking points. I've got nothing to say. This is like that time when I said I had nothing to say, but I hate it when I mentioned that I hate it when I say I've got nothing to say other than exactly what's going on screen. And it should be pretty obvious what's going on screen, unless you're blind, but that is my answer. If you're blind, that's an L. I am sorry for your loss. But we're going to use the station to approach it, because I lack an intelligence and did not put RCS. I said that before. I said it. Okay. Whatever. So we had a very spinny and ungraceful and unrealistic dock where we hit it, bounced off, and engaged the spin. We went full interstellar and began doing a spin maneuver to keep the two aligned. But now that we got that done, we can open those solar panels and edit the action groups because I'm stupid, and have that to extend the radiators because the station needs radiators to look cool. That's about it. We're gonna remove that from the. Oh yeah, we're also gonna set it to extend those solar panels because I have a couple solar panels stuck to that module just because it looks cool. And I'm not going to extend the Orion's solar panels because I really don't want them to hit into anything because it has only the batteries that are in the Mark I command. The only thing that's in that service bay is a buttload of monopropellant tanks. As fuel for that engine. Also, note that docking port has to jettison because that's where the parachutes are. So if you use this, just hit the decoupler and jettison that. Just stage that decoupler so that you jettison the docking port. Because you need to do that for the parachutes to open. Also, that stage is after decoupling the service module. Although, I really should have edited it so that the service module and the docking port are jettisoned simultaneously. But, that's too late for that now. Do it if you want. Didn't affect me in any way. So, really, if you want to do it, you do it. I don't care. But, yeah, that seems to be it. Except, I can't just get a good shot because I keep trying to change settings. But finally stopped changing stuff and got a good shot for the outro. So, now that we are approaching that good shot, there we go, good shot. So, now that you have the good shot, I would consider subscribing. Like the banner says, this was a terrible outro. But consider subscribing. Up on the two right-hand corners, upper one is going to be a video recommended by you by YouTube's magic algorithm robots. The lower one is just my most recent post. And on the left, you have links to my channel, and that's it, because I don't have a Patreon or anything. But, until the next video, I really hope you enjoyed this one. Bit of a, not really a change of pace, just, honestly, this is more akin to my old videos, because, I used to just do random